Welcome to Robert's Record Corner. I'm Robert. Beatles versus the Rolling Stones, Episode 1. I'm going right after it. Who had a better 1967?
She's like a rainbow.
50 years ago, the Beatles released Sgt. Pepper's, commonly considered the best album of all time. It had the cover, the production, and the mustaches. On the other hand, the Rolling Stones followed with their Satanic Majesties request, commonly considered the worst Rolling Stones album of all time. Is Satanic Majesties actually better? 1967 was a really weird year for rock and roll. It was the year psychedelic rock broke wide open. Its roots actually begin with Ravi Shankar, who brought in Indian music to introduce to the West in the late 50s. John Coltrane used drones in songs like India in the early 60s. And rock and roll started to seep in with the use of sitars, backwards guitars. Then, 1967. You had Jimi Hendrix burning his guitar in The Summer of Love, Jefferson Airplane singing about mushrooms, and the Doors singing about walking on down the hall.
Walked on down the hall.
Yes, Sgt. Pepper's might be the best album ever made, but Satanic was a better album for 1967. Even the New York Times said so, if you look back at original reviews. For the Stones, they wrote, "Their Satanic Majesties request is superior to the other theme albums that have appeared in the past year." The New York Times said about Sgt. Pepper's that it was like an over-attended child. It is spoiled. The Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's may be a great album, but is it really psychedelic? I mean, after all, you have all these quarter notes kind of obediently hitting their stride. Paul McCartney singing about dating cops and how everything's getting better all the time. For the Stones, it was far bleaker. I think people would be more forgiving of Satanic Majesties if it had never been released. And it loomed as this lost Stones album. And if you look at it as this window to the Summer of Love and psychedelic music and the Rolling Stones version of it, it's fascinating to see what they come up with. Beatles versus Stones? Who's better with psychedelic music? Stones. This episode comes with the support of Ships Oman. They didn't pay me, I just happen to like the chips a lot.